All right. Are we live again? Let us see. We're going to have to fix all this. Okay. 1 second, everybody, while we get ourselves started here. All right. Let's send out the announcement to everybody. Will not be denied. All right, guys. Oh, yeah. I hate my Ethernet sometimes. Why does it do this? I really do need to take the computer in and just ask them to check that out, see what's going on there. All right, everybody. Gonna try to explain. Sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody. My Ethernet, crapped out on me. Here is the link to the new stream so we can finish up going over, I should say, the new Elden Ring trailer. There you go. Gonna post that in the community. Gonna now post that on Twitter. Let's, quote, technical difficulties. Here is the link to the new stream. There we go. All right. You guys are seeing a black screen, but hearing my voice, I hope. Howdy, hello. By the way, the shadow character is wielding the same iron cleavers as the Misbegotten. I'm gonna have to, I'll be honest, I completely lost track of where we were at and stuff, so I'm gonna have to, like, go back and see what the hell we were doing and figure out what's going on here. Again, I'm sorry, everybody, for this technical difficulties. I hate it. So I just want to let you all know. We're gonna have both of these parts, though, up. I'll pin a comment on the first stream so people know they can go watch the rest of it here, so. What was the last thing you guys heard that I was chatting about? Because I was going off for a second before these issues came up. So where were we? Let me turn on the web browser thing now because you can now see the trailer. And we want to go here. I'm gonna give a moment for everyone to get back into it. I know it's getting late, but I want to finish this. So I want to close the web browser a little longer. We're at the dude throwing daggers at Shadow Man. Oh, okay, so I remember the part now. Okay, good. Okay, we'll focus on that now. All right. So let's continue here. Again, sorry everybody for the technical difficulties. I am going to fix this as best I am able. So we were here. I was trying to figure out where this town city was. So I was going back here to see if we see anything similar with the Vale, because this is what was really bugging me. Yeah, this looks way too small. This has to be a different town with Vales then, because this is way too small. I don't see any of the dome structures. I don't see the tower here. We are a little bit past the halfway point, so. Yeah, so. This, I feel like, is somewhere. There is towers here. There is, but there's, like, several towers here. Like, this looks like a bigger area than what we were seeing earlier. So okay, so you guys first saw me right at the start of the game, the clip. Okay, so I was talking about that stuff for, like, about 30 seconds after that and trying to compare it to the first area, which is what I'm doing now. So the town is draped in cloths like the veils the woman in the painting is wearing. So you think this here with the gold and stuff. Okay, now this I can potentially agree with you with, Night Scout. So let's go back to that paint portrait. The design is still different, but it does have the tassel things at the end. So I wouldn't say for sure there's a connection, but there is something more there than just the plain drapes in the skybox. I will say that. There's a bit more to this here. So we have Shadow Man here. This feels like one of those things we see when we're doing like puzzles for the towers. I would not be surprised if the sorcerer towers, I mean. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's something similar here. We see some like plant growth and stuff, but that could just be natural. We see these like incense burners here on the left side. That's very interesting, to be frank. Yeah, that's very interesting. We also see these like grotesques off the side, but I can't tell if they're anything like specific we're looking at. Cobblestone Road. Shadows. Yeah, these remind me of the shadow figures where we have to like illuminate them with the gargoyle, like the imps, I mean. We bring them into the light and then they turn into normal. That's what this also reminds me of. So I could see it going either way. All right, keep going. The butterflies here, we see lots of butterflies. They don't look like nascent butterflies, but people have told me this is similar to the color we see with the Trina sword. I've never used the sword, so I haven't seen what the sleep magic stuff that is like, but I'll believe you. And then we see what looks to be gravestones in the background here. This I think is the most interesting because that vaguely resembles the urns we see at Far Missoula. And I feel like if that is so, then this definitely connects this as one of the farm colonies. Like 100%, there's no doubt now. Now, whether it's the Sun Capital, that's still, I think, an open question. But there's definitely something there. We also see here this like courtyard area has a tree at the center. Right? And there are these horned lions, again, like what we see in the boss fight. So it's very clear that this is they're all part of the same area here. So again, I find that very interesting. I'm very curious about that. This is more pink, but it's close enough for now. Yeah, again, I'm going to take you guys' words for it that this is similar enough to that sleep magic from there. The butterflies remind me of the pink from the Bewitching Branch. Okay, so Bewitching Branch is another thing to look at, I guess. Let's look here. Open area, definitely a courtyard, more plant life here, but that comes from the tree that's at the center we saw. We see the towering structures. These could be the same that we see in that far off shot that we saw earlier, but we'll have to see. Yeah, this definitely looks a lot more similar. This dome, do we see anything like that? We see something like that here. Maybe behind here we'll see more. Yeah, but I'm struggling to find maybe this here. Unfortunately, this is like all corrupted and shadowy and stuff, but we don't see that here. Now, Acer brought up the interesting idea that as the shadows cast on the place, it'll be like it turns crumbly and stuff as you cast over it. But I don't know if they have the technology for that type of thing in their engine, and it feels like all of this should be illuminated, but this stuff is clearly still black, so I don't know. I feel like that's more like a separate, independent corruption that's creating that dark, shadowy effect. Ooh, okay. Now, this is, I think, the most interesting part, because if this is sleep magic, this would be the best example, because it seems to trigger above the character's head. Now, again, this could be relative to the character who's standing on a ledge or whatever, but assuming, like, she's locked onto somebody, this could be the idea of, like, it's just trying to affect their minds and stuff, right? So it's like a sprinkling, like, sleep dust or whatever from the Sandman. This guy seems to clutch. This guy on the far left here. So you have a bunch of people with daggers. They're clearly based off the generic, what's it called? The commoner soldier we see. But, like, yeah, this guy. So, like, he gets struck. He steps back, it looks like. Actually, no. It looks like he gets lifted up. Yeah, he actually gets lifted up briefly. So these guys look like they're raised. Like, they're being affected by an effect that, like, lifts them off their feet for a brief second. Okay. And this guy, like, clutches his chest. But the others don't really do that, which is where it gets really weird. This could just be the different sleep animations they're performing. I'm not familiar with what it's like when you put someone to sleep in this game, so that I don't know if there's like variations between enemy types of how they fall asleep or something, or if they all like have the same consistent thing. So who knows? But again, we can see this. Again, notice how there's the twisting of the trees. What I find most interesting is this kind of reminds me of the two fingers. It may be a coincidence, but the way like this splits up and stuff, it just sort of has that feel to it. Again, it could just be trying to evoke that double helix look again. That's also totally possible. We also see shields with something similar in the base game. There's a shield that has like a twisting thing that I've previously connected to like Erdtree culture and stuff. Would be interesting if it's actually connected to this and it dates back to like the war of the Altus unification. So very nice. I don't know what this is here. It looks like maybe pieces of ruins and stuff, but we'll have to see. The explosion reminds me of Stars of Darkness, Ashes of War for the Estelle stuff. Yeah, it definitely kind of has that retextured Estelle stuff vibe, doesn't it? No Sleep. Sleeps looks different, you say? Okay. Yeah, reminds you of the Estelle stuff. Sleep has a purple mist and unique petals falling above someone's head. I see. Let me see, like, the very last few frames of that. Not you. I don't care about you. There. It doesn't look like it's hurting. This doesn't look like the color of gravity magic either, though. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so this is perhaps the most important thing that we're going to be looking at here. So when we see, like, this knight guy, and he's got a twin blade. I don't know if this is a boss or if this is outside the boss arena, something that Acer's put forward. But we can clearly see a crest here, and perhaps the same crest up here. Now, looking at it closely, this reminds me of the hawk imagery we see on like chairs and stuff. Like there's a very tiny like bird where it almost looks like a cross, but it's like a bird with like wings, like a curved like hook downturn. So I'm wondering if this could be, based on the Norman architecture, a crest or something connected to the farm colonies. I don't think this is, though. This black and gold stuff, some people have connected this to Malekith. I could also see this being connected to Mesmer. Again, it could be that this castle has a history with the farm colonies, but it's been taken over by another faction. So that's something to keep in mind. Woo! We have water here, which is interesting, and a bunch of spears. Again, the spears also make me think of the Impaler, if I had to be perfectly frank. This definitely makes me think about, and especially with, like, this, like, moon-like hook, this reminds me of the spear that, Mesmer wields, right? Because it has a similar, like, thing going for it. So I would not be surprised if this is all supposed to be, like, Mesmer has taken over this fort. Maybe it has a different history long ago, but... Another possibility I put forth in Acer's stream was the idea that this is the crest we see associated with Mesmer and like the collector's edition or whatever they're selling. Do they show this at the end here? Yeah, they do. So let's go here for a sec. Rejoice! New twin blade! Hopefully strength scaling and bigger than the gargoyle. I guess we'll have to see, Peddler. We'll have to see. Again, guys, I'm so sorry for the disconnect on the Ethernet. I mean, granted, that stream was getting long, so I was playing with fate there. Like, it always happens. It always happens that way, but I was hopeful this wouldn't. Okay, so, like, again, you can kind of see the similar idea here. There's the line with the circle, and then you have the fire, and then the helix, like, in a wreath form. Again, this looks similar to the thing that Miquella's servants wear, but again, as you guys have pointed out, it may be something that's just used very widely in the game. Concept art-wise, we see a castle here, related to the Shadow Tree. So it looks like, yeah, this is going to be a separate castle we're going to have to go to. We see a bunch of impaling pikes and spears heads and stuff like that, with potentially people on them. It's hard to tell. And then you have, like, the character on Torrent in the background there. And then this looks like it might be a boss arena within one of the castles here. Again, it's hard to say. Like, this looks like the bridge area, so this may be like, oh, when you go to the bridge, you're going to see all these, like, people on pikes, like Vlad the Impaler warning you about trying to dare enter his domain. And then you're going to have, like, this is, like, the interior of the castle. I could see that, but, again, that's for the later section. I want to focus on this. You see the three, you have this, like, weird little fancy thing for the edging and stuff, but the important thing is, like, you have the 3 snake heads, 3 snake heads at the bottom. And then here we have the caduceus look here with the helix sort of looping back around too. So it's like whoop, and it just circle, 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 circle all the way down to the bottom. And then you have this like flame at the bottom here with the line, and then fire, and then wreath. So that could be what we're seeing here. Above the area here and over on these plaques. I mean, sorry, banners, I should say. Yeah, I could see the line here, so this could be the line with the flame, and then this kind of looks like a circular, and this kind of looks like a whole mass, so this could be the fire, this could be the circle thing. So yeah, I'm leaning toward this being a Norman-style fort of the farm colonists that has been taken over by Mesmer. I don't know if it's the castle area we've seen, but that definitely is what it looks like to me. These knights don't have the generic armor shape of all the other knights. They don't, but I don't think that Miyazaki and company will necessarily reuse those models for this. Or maybe if they do, they'll reuse this basic skeleton. But, like, I feel like if these are Mesmer's forces, they would make them look more unique compared to the generic soldiers we see involved in the Shattering. Because so far, we don't have any indication that Mesmer was involved in the Shattering. So I would not be surprised if he's doing his own thing. The gym calls, farewell. Farewell, peddler. Good to see you. The circle made of snakes reminds me of the symbol on the back of the O'Neill/Niels cave. Yeah, there's a similar wreath circular thing there, too. That could be interesting if it's trying to tie all these helix imageries and, like, you know, twisting and curving back to the farm colonies. Very interesting implications, if so. Again, we see the place in the background. This looks like the lower fields. We have this temple thing here. Ancient Civ ruins, blurry in the background. Guy's got giant like firebomb to throw at people or whatever. Waterfall back here. So this should be, God, we keep coming back to this, chat. It's always here. So that's here. That's this section here, totally beyond this bridge. That's what we see here. There's the temple thing. There's the ancient Civ ruins. There's the waterfall. So yeah. Again, so far, we're not seeing too many places that are truly wholly unique or new from what it is. It's all the stuff we can see on this map for the most part. So I definitely feel like this map definitely has the feeling of, like, you know, it's big, but it's not that big. Let's actually go a little bit back here. Yeah, so there's everything there. There's the waterfall. There's the temple thing. There's all these defenses, so it looks like there is an active conflict going on here. We have the bridge here. Looks like there's a cave into the cliff here. So that's interesting. There is an overpass type deal. That's cool. We're also seeing a lot more ruins extended here. This looks like possibly that dungeon area. So the dungeon area, we saw like a type of platform lift thing. So that could be what we saw here. That could be some of the stuff we see here. Because look, we see the temple thing here. So this is probably related to that. Because this is the temple thing we're seeing in the corner there. Yeah, I'm getting a really good sense of where everything is situated now. So yeah, not too crazy what we're seeing here. This is probably then the bridge overpass, which takes us to this dungeon area, if I had to guess. I would not be surprised at all. Also, again, we see these guys. They have shields. They look like generic soldier mooks. They may belong to one of the factions here. Kind of has like that prisoner helm type thing going for him. The Dupre Perfumer robe have 2 snakes on it. Oh, that's good to know, man. Yeah, so get hit by this. Oh. So we're now in like some forest area. This doesn't look like it's the part of the forest that doesn't have the conifers. So I would not be surprised if it's somewhere over here maybe, because there are some conifers, but definitely a lot fewer of them, right? Again, feels more like when we look at other areas. Yeah, similar green forest, a lot of greenery. Not seeing a lot of yellow here, which again is very, very good to see.
working to know.
So this guy, again, we have, looking at this guy's armor. He's clearly shooting the bolts with this crossbow like one of the perfumers. I like the design of the armor itself. I like it. It reminds me of like Duran / Gundyr, but like with a more high-tech, heavy metal look. Like this kind of almost looks like it could be almost like a sci-fi knight type of deal. I like it. Very clean and angular here. Very cool. I like it a lot. So this is like shooting at the player. So this is probably an enemy or potentially an NPC who we've made hostile. I've compared this NPC as something maybe like Anastasia on Acer's stream, so I guess we'll see. I wonder if his fire will have unique properties. I don't know, because I don't think the fire has unique properties for the perfumers, but again, it could be the crossbow has something unique about it that'll change that. Because he's clearly got fiery shooting here, right? So it's shooting a lot more, too, than what perfumers do. Like, this is clearly... Ooh. Ooh. Are these special bolts we have here? Yeah, there's a bolt. Interesting. Huh. Now, is that just because of the residue of, like, the flame and stuff there? Or is there, like, actually something inside these bolts that are going to cause the perfuming? Like, if that's something we can obtain as an item, that'd be cool. But yeah, he can clearly shoot. He's shooting, like, a lot of these. So this is clearly, like, a machine gun perfumer bolt type of deal. Now, we basically have, like, Dragon Communion incantations, but it's, like, with bear head, horned bear. Oh, you mean Mesmer with his fire. Yeah, could be something like that, too. I could see Mesmer's fire having unique properties to it. Maybe even a unique, status effect or something, but we'll see. Oh, those are perfumer bolts. Is it the exact same we see with the perfumers, then?
Just what kind
Is that an actual bolt we can actually get in-game? Because I don't remember if we could actually get the perfumer saying bolts or not. Either way, I like the rapid-fire nature of this crossbow. Where is this? Where is this? It's so blurry, it's hard to tell. This is probably the best we're going to get look. Looks like there's some trees or something back there. Cliff sides, maybe a waterfall over there. Some type of ruins over there. We do see the roots here and the tree there. So this might be like behind where the character is in that overview shot we saw. So this may be really far back. All right, let's put on normal for a second. I do not recognize these ruins. So this might be something that's behind it. This looks like it could be a church, though. That is interesting. I was going to mention that the icon for the perfumer books looks like it's made of corpse wax. That would not be surprising. I wonder, does corpse wax glow like that, though? This looks like it could be water, though, chat. So, I think it was Baltoy or someone who was mentioning the possibility that this is water. So this is all fog. This definitely looks like water, though, on the horizon. So I could definitely see this being, there actually is water surrounding this landmass. Which will be interesting to see how that might connect. Now here... we have like a coffin thing over here, a coffin thing over here. We have one of the graves we see in the capital outskirts with some of those stuff we see with the some of those like grave things we see in cliff sides and stuff attached to them on the back. That's neat. We see some of the normal graves we see, some of the generic stuff. Nothing too unique there. Yeah, these are like the Cathedral of the Deep model stuff. So, like, yeah, we're seeing a lot of, like, grave... these are, like, definitely, like, old grave models that we've seen previously. So curious how that's going to work, especially with the very glowing flowers that are happening. We have more conifers here. All of them are definitely green. We have, again, another of this, like, giant coffin thing. It also kind of looks like a boat. Like a ship or something. Church first pick up on the right, yeah. So I'm gonna look at the website stuff after this, and then we'll see if there's anything new I find. So let's look at that. Let's look at this here. Again, that we have the character in the dress. I think she looks nice, but I'm more interested in the environment here. They seem to do a fast cut between these two. This doesn't look like it's one continuous shot. She's got like these cool like dual-bladed scimitar things. Yeah. Yeah, this is a new shot. Yeah, they're splicing together two different shots. But yeah, we see the Sun Capital graves here for sure from the capital outskirts. So more of them back here. Well, looks like this might be like a valley gorge or something. Yeah, again, definitely the Cathedral of the Deep graves are being copy-pasted here. See some of the stone grave structures by themselves. We see now one of them that's like up against the side of it, not just the back. So, again, lots of interesting stuff here. The head of the bolt looks like a glass capsule with the fire perfume, but some of the other end looks like a corpse wax. Interesting. Maybe these are the boats on the designs in the Dynasty ruins? Oh! Well, that could be interesting for sure, but we don't see anything else Dynasty ruin related here, so I don't know. And the boats on those ruins could just be generic stuff from like filler, or I mean, not filler, you know, stock images and things. This looks very close to the base of the Erd Tree. Also, these conifers are looking more golden. They look a lot more yellow here. So I would not be surprised if we start seeing, like, as we get closer to the Shadow Tree, we see the effects of the Erd Tree on the plants closer to it. Would not be surprised at all if we see something like that. But we'd have to actually see it. There's also this weird tower thing and, like, a bunch of, like, battlements. These look like the Banished Knight weaponry stuff. So we'll have to see how they're going to be used in the DLC. If they're going to be used like generic weaponry, or if it's going to indicate that actual Banished Knights / Farm colonists fought here at one point. Even if we don't see any Banished Knights in this game itself. We'll just have to see. I'm curious about this. I like it. I'm really curious about it. I also really like the frickin' boar. Reminds me of Armored Tusk from Dark Souls 1. And it looks like there's a design here. Now, I can't tell if that's the gravity crest or if it's something else. It's probably something else, because I feel like the gravity crest is more like divided into two with the waves thing, right? But again, I really am curious about if this is related to Mesmer or if it's going to be a separate enemy for another faction. The helmet's very distinctive for sure. Has like this flail thing and like these horns here. Got the like lance with like gravity magic. I wonder if actual true blue lances are going to be its own weapon type now. Like we're actually going to get like proper like weapons that work best when you're mounted on a horse or something. Help you give like true charge attacks and stuff. It looks like the Gravity Draconic Tree Sentinel, sort of. I mean, I'm sure they're using the same model as like the same like skeleton and stuff of like dude mounted on horse, quote unquote, but this time they make it a boar. I don't know though. I don't know though if the armor is like really consistent with that though. So I guess we'll see. No, they're Drake Knights. They turn into boars, then probably into Dragon Knights or back for dragons. Yeah, sure. Sure, I'm in totally. We have the moon in the background again. Looks like some ruins back here. Trees, lots of normal looking trees, a waterfall here. This could be though a backside of some area. I don't know if this is any of the areas we can see within the side of the game. But then we have this like weird crucible like thing. Its head is the weirdest part of it. It's got like these pointed ears, but they're really sunk in. It's got these weird eyes. It's got this like hippo jaw going, but it's all furry and stuff. This could be a person who transformed into a monster. I could totally see that being a case. It could be like a worm face, but instead of with death blight and the worm things, it's gonna be like the power of the gold or whatever. He's also got these golden teeth, which again might be conducive to like he ate something and they ate and it turned his teeth gold, and the rest of him turned into this crucible monstrosity. I don't know. Again, I'm spitballing here. He does something here. He's got like these armadillo-like hands or something. I don't know how to describe it. It definitely looks like a digger type of thing. He's drawing up like some sort of gold energy, and then these come out here, and they have the golden crystals, like when we see incantations and stuff. So yeah, it sort of generates, but it also like curls out. Yeah, so it grows, it curls out, then like this. Then like, yeah, we have all these like shooters coming out of these thorn areas, and you have all these golden crystals, like what we see again with like various like incantations. So then we have this. Now this deep underground adds to my suspicion that we're gonna have lots of underground areas that are gonna add to the verticality to this place. It's a crucible animal, of course it's weird. In trailer, you see incantation that the boar does, but they're pick at the same thing they do Drake Knights. I'm serious, I've seen this. I'm gonna have to look at that separately then. Man. This guy's weird. He has this like skull neck thing, but it has like this shadowy, like wispy humanity like head. You also have this horse, which is like, you know, like half like dissolved in like acid or whatever this swamp thing is, right? It's got this weird sludge that it's eating it. So, like, it almost feels like this is, like, possessing something. But I don't know what it would be possessing. It seems to be the same cave complex that we see here, though. Because we can see the lilies in the corner, right? So, this seems to be the same underground cave network, if I had to guess. Because we see the lilies, but they're just not glowing, at least as brightly as what we see here. Right? Let's again look at the earlier frames here. This looks like it should be a skeleton, but like it's really weird how it looks, and I can't tell if that's because like there's all this black sludge possessing it, and it's like, you know, puppeteering like a skeletal body or whatever, and the head fell off or something. Like, yeah, this is very odd. This is very bizarre to me. It has like this Orphan of Kos like bone weaponry too. That's connected to it, almost like Nito, like you could say. And but it throws it, so it's not truly connected to the body. It doesn't seem like. But then again, I guess bones can like very easily disconnect, right? So, who's to say? No, but yeah, this looks like it has a hand, right? Like this looks like a hand. This looks like a hand here, so it looks like it has two hands. It's got blue eyes, which is weird. Yeah, I suppose the blue eyes is also a bit odd, but, you know, if it's part of this, like, sludgy goop stuff that's, like, possessing, like, some skeletal horse thing, I'm not as surprised. It's a hippo, rhino, porcupine, yeah. Highly reminiscent. The golden needle shooting out of it is highly reminiscent of the Elden Beast attack. Ooh. This is Glowmite Queen, obsidian on chest. Yeah, this is Melina for sure. Hits the shield, not surprising. Again, better look at like this horse being like eaten by the goop. And clearly this skeleton thing has legs that are like on the horse's back. The horse's legs look like they're like getting a little bony. I can't tell if it's actual bone though, or if it's just like it's like covered in that. No, these are. It looks like it might be covered in the goop stuff, but it looks like it still has some flesh on there. Though, to be fair, the white skin, the bottom half looks like goop, so it may just be that this is a flesh suit. Like, this is like what remains of the horse, but really this horse and this body and all this stuff has been consumed by this black goop stuff. It definitely looks like a boss. For sure. And we see the stalagmite, stalactite. So again, with this and the lilies, this really tells me that this is part of the larger network we were seeing of caves. I didn't see water in that first section with the NPC, but this could be something different. Who knows? Maybe this boss killed that NPC or something. Or is responsible for the NPC being, like, hurt. Now, this I find most interesting. Like you guys talked about, the candelabra stuff has something similar. But we have this giant crystal with, like, spikes coming out of it at certain points. But it's jabbed through the whole guy. So it's almost like the spike was put through the guy. But then the other spikes grew out of it from there. It's also clearly the same guy who we see in the portrait. So he's got this big gaping hole here. He's got the spike going all the way through his body, through his throat and stuff. And he's got these bigger spikes, which are coming from it outside here. You can't even really see if he has much of a body left. Like, it definitely seems like if he does, it's very skeletal. And this may be coming out of, like, the bottom of his chest cavity or something. It's definitely, like, tearing up his cloak and robe. It might be in the same manner where we see the portrait, because we see similar stonework on the walls, right? So it could be that. It's also worth noting that the portrait seems to have this thing on the top here. So again, it seems to tell us that wherever this portrait was framed, it seems to be, again, like where this guy lives or works, or in definitely a place affiliated closely with him. And now we're seeing this. And again, you can see he's trying to pull it out, and it's like causing it to like bleed out of the bottom, out of his neck, almost like it's like slowly stretching his neck because it's all like so deeply tied into his body. Like you can almost see like he's about to take off his head, it looks like, if he pulls it any harder. And like the blood is like now really spewing. So like, yeah, this is going to be a very grotesque scene. Yeah, you can see. It definitely looks like this cutscene's going to end with this guy's head coming off, and it's going to be like part of this blade thing, and the rest of the body might collapse or something. Like, this is going to be probably one of the most grotesque stuff. Quaylag thinks this is a Haster reference. Is that like a reference to a Norse mythology character? Because I don't. Haster doesn't sound familiar to me off the top of my head. Yeah, those spikes had to have formed after he was impaled. Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense to me looking at this. Yeah, and then you see like the spurts of blood coming out from the bottom and the sides of his neck and stuff. The large golden protrusions are bending just a bit. Let me look again now. Yeah, you're right. You can see them almost coming down. So like it's almost like they're gonna like it's all gonna come out of here of the body and stuff. So it's gonna like rip through and like, ooh, it's gonna cause some real damage to this guy. It's also worth noting that he seems to be kneeling. Like, am I wrong, chat? It looks like his legs are spread out. So this like looks to be his his hips. This is where the crotch is. This is where the love handles were. This is the chest. And this seems to be the legs, and he seems to be on his knees on the floor. Because it looks like we're clearly seeing a floor here. And then this is like the passageway that we would take, and there's like torches on the walls behind him. So all of this seems to tell me that this guy seems to be trying to pull this stuff out while he's on the floor, and it's like tearing him apart. Oops. Interesting that there's this stuff on his elbows. I can't tell if that's significant. You also see it on his hands. I can't tell if that's like actually significant though. Like if this is a guy who like works steeped in gold and he would like put his elbows on stuff, or if that's just like, you know, generic like, oh, he's old, he's ragged, he's hollowy type corpse thing they're doing here. I want to look at that one last time. Yeah, you can see like his body's more or less staying in place, but the thing is definitely slowly coming out. I want to see if those spikes around the head, do those change at all? No, those aren't being affected much. It's mostly the ones down here. Okay. Yeah, seems about right. Carcosa, Hastor, etc. Oh, the king in yellow. Okay, you think he's a reference to the king in yellow from Lovecraft. Gotcha. Because like Hastor, that sounds like it might be Norse, but no, okay, it's Lovecraftian. He might be, though. It could be a camera angle trick depending on how tall he is. That's true. It could be a camera angle trick. That is definitely possible. So again, we'll see when the final game comes out, but it looks like I could see something like this guy we meet, and he's gonna like walk out of this passageway, then collapse on his knees and proceed to try to rip this thing out, and like, you know, something grotesque like that, because this is clearly a cutscene. Another possibility I can think of is like we find his corpse like this, we try to touch it like we always do, and then this guy's gonna come to life and proceed to try to rip it out. Like that's another possibility I could think of, but we don't see any yeah, not you, Quaylag. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Iman. But, there doesn't seem to be a chair or something this guy would be standing in from this angle. So, it looks like he'd have to either be walking out of the passage when we enter this room, this chamber, or he's going to be, like, standing or sitting or laying or something, and we interact with him somehow. That's the only way I could see this cutscene triggering. All right, so we now have this area here. We're getting close, chat. We're getting closer to the end every step of the way. So again, this is the same boss arena we saw earlier. We see the statue in the background with the drape veils. Very big arena, lots of candles because why not? I can't tell if this is the same column stuff we saw earlier when we were at the pot area. I speculated the possibility that this is connected to Mesmer's arena at the center. Sorry, Mesmer's like dungeon, his legacy dungeon or whatever. When we get to the base of the Erd Tree, which is where I'm thinking this Shadow Tree is going to be, where we're going to fight Mesmer, right? So maybe I'm wrong, but that's my educated guess. But yeah, I can't tell if we see any of the same designs here. Damn, we don't get to. Stupid cloud blocks the statue, and we don't get a good look at it otherwise. So he just jumps. Nothing crazy there. Yeah, this seems to be another shot for that jump. We got the fancy shield and everything. The snakes, again, I can't find a tail end for these snakes, so it looks like it's one big caduceus. What's in the center here behind the player? Do we get any idea of that while we're going through here? Ooh, we do? Ooh. Unfortunately, we don't get a good angle on it. Oh, wait. We do, actually, as it passes. Yeah, this is his crest. I think this is the crest we saw on the wall of that fort earlier. Yeah, because you have the big, long line here. It's hard to say if this is the flame side or the wreath side. Yeah, this is really tough. Because you also have the, 1 second, chat. I'm going to try to full screen this for me.
Those stripped of the grace of gold.
And we're going to put this in slow-mo. Forgive the sound bleeding your ears, but... Yeah, it looks like the wreath side, potentially. It's really hard to tell, but... maybe if we get a screenshot. Alright, I'm gonna try that. Let me open this in a paint or something now. Yeah, it's super hard to tell, but I think this definitely could be the fire side. Either way, chat, looking at this in total, I could totally see this being his crest on the center of the ground. If this guy's a boss, he's going to be nothing above the stomach, save for a pair of arms. Oh, you mean the guy with the golden stuff? Yeah, if he's a boss, he's going to be really nothing. But then again, who knows what's going on with this guy? They could do something really crazy and creative with this boss. Who knows? He might even be the secret boss. You never know. Maybe that golden thing is actually sealing his power, and he's finally strong enough or whatever to, like, he's rotted away enough that he can, like, take it out, and now he's going to, like, become, like, this super crazy, like, buff secret super boss. Who knows? It seems that's the fire side. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Anyway, we're going to keep on going to the next shot now. Nothing else interests me here. Anything else in here? No, not really. Yeah, I don't really care for anything we're seeing in this either. Like, yay, fire. We see his spear grows up here. So, yeah, it just, like, sprouts up. I assume that's, like, a magic fire spear or something. It seems to be generating matter, though, so that's kind of neat. Yeah, they look very physical. This could be, people have compared it to aberrant sorcery. This could be, like, similar to, like, the blood stuff. Maybe it's generated from that, but I don't know. We'll see. Very cool. I could totally see this, like, if we get hit, we get impaled on it, especially if we die with it or something. This guy definitely looks like he has one eye that's either shut or burned or something, maybe even blinded. I want to say it's shut, though, and then the other eye open, so he definitely gives Odin vibes in that respect. Yeah, Iman's brought that up. That happened in Quaylag stream, too. You also have, his armor's not that protective. Like, you can see it's exposed here, which is very weird. It's like an armored, scale armored vest more than anything. Yeah, you can see it clearly here, too. Right? His whole skin is exposed. Like, this guy is the biggest twink to ever twink. And like he's got these exposed legs like this. Like I'm not gonna lie, guys. This guy, they're definitely going for like Greek like Perseus vibes or whatever, with like the exposed legs and arms and stuff. Because like otherwise this armor just is it's a little weird. Does he summon that out of nowhere, or no, he already has it in his hand. Okay. But he's actually not touching it at this section. He's just having it float and letting the fire consume it. That is interesting. And again, we also see his other arm also has like the burn scar, like singe stuff, which again, very consistent with what we'd expect for a guy like this. He would have something like this. Also get a decent look at the red gems here that you guys were talking about. We have that here. We have like the black flame stuff. A little bit of a red look to this, but I can't tell if that's because of like fire on the floor or something. Yeah, very interesting. Oh, nope, no, don't want to open this. Yeah, but then fire consumes this, and then he holds it again. Why does the fire appear then? Oh, because it appears. It's appearing. It's actually not supposed to be there. No, it is supposed to be there. Okay, yeah, it does appear. It does appear. Okay, so the thing is, the animation has it where yeah, here we go. Pop! It pops up into his hand first, and then the fire effect. So I think what they're going for is the idea is that the fire, it causes it to spawn out of the fire, but because of the frame rate and stuff, we're able to catch the weapon right before it like grows from probably like minuscule size to like normal size. Like it pops that way, similar to what we see with like Leonard and stuff. And then the fire effect that makes it appear, quote unquote, happens like right after. So I think it's just someone didn't do this animation that well. He sure likes to have a toga drape extra far on his snakes. He's probably related to the practice of putting the drapes in the town. I would not be surprised if the veil stuff is connected to him as well. But we'll have to see, because it could be that he does his own veil thing, and it's separate from the veil stuff we see in these towns. Maybe his spear is reminding you of the Helfin steeple, Loki. You know what? You're right. I would not be surprised if that crossguard thing is reminding me of the Helfin steeple. I told Acer on his stream, it kind of reminds me of the cross spears, and it could be related to, like, maybe he was involved in dragon hunting or something. But now that you say that, Acer, I think you're right. I think it's reminding me of the steeple. I think Leonard shrinks. I think he gets hidden beneath the sand, then lifts up. Well, I was throwing out Leonard as, like, a random example. But, like, there's definitely examples of, like, weapons and stuff where they're, like, shrunk to, like, minuscule. Like, you can't, it's microscopic. You can't see them size. But they're always there with the model. And then they're just, like, regrown to normal size when they get moved around and stuff.
Come now.
Anyway, can we get a good look at that thing on the floor?
Come now.
Again, I really want just like a clear, like obvious example that that's his crest that we see on the collector's edition stuff, but it's really hard to see from this angle. Well, whatever we're gonna do with that shield, it's not happening here. Okay, good. We have a good angle here. This we can work with. Yep, that's the wreath. That's the flame. That's the line with the little flames there. So, yep, this is, in fact, the crest at the center of his area. Then we have these, like, this random design seemingly here on the edges. So, okay, good. We're able to confirm that. I'm so happy we're able to look at that. The kind of pelvis-style gaps just before his spear's blade is reminiscent of the Serpent Hunter. That, too, I was also thinking, with all the serpent imagery, I wonder if this is somehow related. But the actual style of that weapon compared to this is so radically different. You called me Acer. I'm sorry, Xavier. Acer, Xavier, same difference. I like how he physically lifts you up with the fire. That is really cool. Also, we get a better idea of, like, there's the chair in the corner. There's the statue. Unfortunately, we don't get a clear look at the statue itself. Yeah, we never get a good look at the statue, unfortunately.
Touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow.
Ooh. Does this show how we entered this area? It doesn't, actually. I assume the entrance is, like, right off screen. Probably because there's a boss fog wall or something, right? So they don't want to show that for this epic sequence. Oh, why is it muted? Whoopsie, I hit the mute button.
I will not touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow.
Our character flinches with the fire here. Again, there could be an additional effect with the fire, similar to Malekith's blade, I could see. We flinch, but we don't care. We immediately use this incantation that lets us have the flames, just like the Crucible Knights. Now this, again, I was expecting this when I should say I was expecting this. This was something I thought was very likely to happen. I was hoping we would see this, because it was the only Crucible incantation from the Knights that we didn't get to see. It looks a little touched up from the one we see in the Crucible Knights use. That could be because it's been reworked to work with player models and stuff, and all the different ways you can make the player model. So maybe that's it, or maybe they're just polishing up the effect in general. Either way, I like it. It looks cool, and I'm super happy we're having this. I could totally see my Confessor character using this. We fall in, obviously. Lol.
Far behind.
And now we have a different cut here with the shield, him jumping around. Nothing really special, though, I'm seeing.
Meet again.
And then we see Miquella. Now, the thing about Miquella that we see here is that we see this bright white that we don't see on the tree beforehand. And the ground is very dead. This is the most dead the ground has looked, I think, in all the shots we've seen. Because the shots are usually they're covered in tall grass or some sort of grass and foliage and trees and bushes and flowers. This is not happening here. And I can't tell where exactly this is happening, considering how far the Shadow Tree looks relative to Miquella or whoever. We're also not seeing anything like actively falling, so it looks like any fall here is very slow, or it's actually floating because of gravity or something. Like, yeah, it's very hard to tell with the way the camera angles and stuff are. But we can clearly see there's the blackness here, and it's crumbling apart or whatever, but then it's super white and bright here. Kung Fu and flying. Then maybe that's in the DLC too. Well, that and the Wolverine grab. Though maybe that's in the DLC too. The Dark Hand grab or Sacred Flame. That's true. We could get something like that related to Mesmer, if it's an Ash of War or something. It's an Ash of War. I think he doesn't pull out a catalyst. Oh, you think they're gonna connect this to a weapon, Xavier? That's true. I wonder if Miquella is trying to apply a type of white unallied gold to the Erd Tree, aka the Miquella's Needle item. Maybe. Is there anything like that looks really whitish with Miquella's pure gold though? I don't know. It talks about in the Japanese website him abandoning his destiny, quote unquote, for this. So he might even be abandoning the pure gold stuff to do this. So this might be something completely different. But yeah, I was talking about Acer with this too on stream. This looks like one continuous piece of a tree. I'll be honest, these look like, if we go with the helix formation stuff to its logical conclusion, this shadow tree looks like it's one tree, but it's twisting around two distinct branches, right? Like, you know, there's like the main branches and they split off in the trunks to it. That's what this looks like to me. Like you have these two intertwining branches that are forming the main trunk. And you have it sort of continuing with like more branches, like trying to wrap around this one, but like they all come from like this section comes from down here, and this section comes from here, and it's all part of the same tree. I don't think this is grafting or anything. I think people like I think some content creators are going to be very disappointed based on whatever the lore for this is at the end. But who knows? I could be wrong. I'm more than happy to see that isn't the case. But based on all the helix structures we see in this DLC. I feel like this is all just one tree, and it's part of one giant helix structure reference, even if it's only purely thematic. His hand kind of lines up with the tree, kind of like Melania's face with the tree face in her second phase. But the tree face is supposed to be Miquella, right? So I don't know if the Melania connection really works in that sense. There's also clearly like this glowing thing here, and I can't tell if that's Miquella himself or if that's like something that's like in front of him he's using. Like, it looks like the light's coming from him in this angle, right? And like you said, the hand, it's almost like he's grasping it, like he's cupping it in his hands. And like, so it could be that, yeah, the power is related directly to him and what's happening here. And then, whoop, and then we have this. So we see pillar here, cathedral thing here, shroud, town and shroud here, castle here, ancient civ ruins stuff here, the shadowy area that we talked about earlier, battlefield stuff. There's a bridge. There's all this impaling stuff happening here. There's the waterfalls we talked about earlier here. Big castle for the main legacy dungeon, I assume. We're gonna have to, like, cross that bridge to get to it or whatever. Maybe take some secret underground route to sneak in or what have you. And then the tree here. I think, looking at everything we've seen here, chat, I think this DLC is going to be really solid. Now, again, it's just a trailer. Trailers can lie. But I think From Software has proven they could make this stuff work, and I have seen nothing in this trailer to make me doubt what we're going to get. I think this is going to be a really awesome DLC. Also, it's very clear now that, the snakes are 100% red, like his cloak and stuff, looking at this. And they have, like, these black wings, so that's neat. His skin looks a lot more grayish in this statue, too. I wonder if that's accurate to the model. He's got this ring on. That's interesting. Do we have anything? Do we see that ring when he's doing his thing here?
Travel to the realm of shadow. Touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow.
It's hard to see. He has a bracelet with the helix structure here. Let's look here. Game. Sorry. Video. YouTube. Oh my god. Sometimes YouTube just decides it wants to crap out. The cape is snakes, lol. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I am excited too, Xavier. I am super hyped up for what we're seeing here. It may not sound like it from me, but, like, yeah. Again, like I said, there's nothing, like, super duper surprising here. Like, most of this is stuff that's with what I would imagine could have been possible for this DLC. But I'm very impressed that I'm seeing all this, and it looks so well executed. Maybe? It's hard to... I think that's the ring right there. I think there's, like, a little strip. I see it. Is it supposed to be on that finger? Is it supposed to be on the middle finger? Yeah, it is. It's supposed to be middle finger. So, yeah, I think that's it. I think we are seeing that there. You can also see the 3 red gems. Strangely, you don't really see a darker gem here. Again, maybe just the statue, but very interesting. So, I'm very happy with this. In light of Messmer's Red Snake, I wonder if it has a connection with the Rod and Duelist and their grab attack. That is possible. It could be that those snakes tie in somehow. If nothing else, it may be tying in why the gladiators have the snakes in them. Like, maybe they were implanted with them or something, and they come from Gelmir or something, and that's where Messmer found his snakes too. You never know. It could be something like that. Because so far, we've seen snakes as, like, generic stuff that we see, like the snail snakes. But now we're seeing these, like, devil-winged snakes. And we're potentially in the future going to see, what's it called? We're potentially in the future going to see now these snakes that are growing out of bodies and stuff. Like what we see with the gladiators and the duelists. I'm gonna now bringing up. Okay, yeah, everything's looking good, chat. Stream's looking fine. Going to sleep at 8 a.m. Yeah, sorry about that. All right. Let me bring this back for you guys. Web browser. There we go. So yeah, this is the opening part. So yeah, with the Realm of Shadows and all that stuff. Oh, actually, chat, you know what? Let me bring up my notes because I want to make sure we have the interviews and stuff because there may be something I've forgotten to mention in the past already. Let me open this up for you guys. Yeah, so the Shadow of the Earth Tree stuff. Interviews. Okay, yeah. So yeah, same stuff that we've already seen here. Lands hidden in the shadow of the golden tree. Place the god Marika stepped down upon. Yeah, Marika who's god. Marika to be god. Lands of unsung battles and purges. Now, purges could refer to political purges. I find this very interesting. The English renders this in the thing of a land purged in an unsung battle. Definitely could be possible here. It's definitely clearly related. So I assume the unsung aspect is because these are happening in a hidden place, right? So no one is going to, like, no bard in the lands between is going to speak about the battles that occurred here because there's no one to share them. No one knows about them. But the purges is what I find most interesting, considering we have, like, Wicker Man and stuff. About Miquella's destiny, we find amber starlight in front of a statue of him in Melania, so Miquella may have abandoned that before ever creating unallied gold. Possible. That's another possibility. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing what the DLC is going to do with Miquella, because it could completely recontextualize what him and his dream world and his sleep and all that is actually meaning. And it may be that everyone in the waking world has a completely wrong idea about what Miquella is actually trying to do and what we're going to see with Trina and stuff. We didn't see any Trina boss, by the way, in this trailer. So again, could be a secret boss. That could be like fighting Miquella as Trina or whatever. Could be something, but like, again, we haven't seen it quite yet. So, okay, that's why Miquella headed to the lands shadowed. His golden body, power, destiny, he forsook them all, right? And then the tagline for the thing is, of course, Miquella is awaiting the promised king or his promised lord or whatever, however you want to put that. And then we have stuff where, like, where is it? Land where America became God and the Erd Tree was born, the Golden Tree. Looking at the screenshots and stuff, again, pretty typical things that we saw here. New enemies, new blah, blah, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about this other stuff. This is the trailer. Let me make sure that you guys see this clearly. Yeah, okay, yeah, you guys are seeing this. So we have, again, the drapes. This is a very typical thing of what we saw earlier. Seems to be past the town we saw. This is further deeper in. More roots and stuff with the conifers. Wicker Man! Wicker Man with all these. So we see the knight here. And this is what makes me think these are all Mesmer's guys. Because we see the weapon with the Wicker Man and the fire, which seems like a Mesmer type thing. And then we see these knights on horseback, similar to what we see with like the Shattering Knights. And then we see these soldiers walking around. So all of this with the black and the gold and the flame Wicker Man walking alongside him and stuff. All this leads me to think that this is going to be... I don't know if the Wicker Man's going to be like a troll type enemy or something like that. But it definitely gives me sort of these vibes of this is a convoy working together and they're all aligned. And that you're going to interrupt this and make them all mad. Now, what might hurt this is that we don't recognize this design here. I don't know if this is the exact same design as what we see with Messmer's forces. So this could instead be related to the guy in gold we saw, right? The guy who has like this, the golden spike jammed through him. Because that kind of looks like this. Kind of. The comment about Miquella awaiting his promised lord is curious. Who on earth would be his lord? I assume it's referring to the player character. He never met the Tarnished before. If it's the player character, nobody seemed set to be his Elden Lord. The promised lord may have to do with Miquella. I mean, with Melina, because Melina seems to be out there granting Torrent on behalf of someone, and if Miquella was the original owner of Torrent, and the teaser art is showing Miquella when he first comes to this land with Torrent, then it's quite possible that Torrent was sent out with Melina to find a would-be Tarnished, or whoever who would be the Elden Lord, and this person is supposed to be led to us as part of Miquella's larger plan. Because it's clear that what we're doing is we're following Miquella to understand his secrets and potentially help him. That seems to be the idea. The top of the Wicker Man has hands reaching toward the flame. Does it actually? I don't see the hand. Oh, I see what you mean. The rope things kind of look like hands. Yeah, maybe that's the idea. That sigil on the cow reminds me a bit of the faded Gelmir insignia. That I'm not so sure about. I have to look at the insignia side by side for that. We don't see this guy in the trailer. That looks like the cathedral thing in the background. I don't recognize those pillars though, so this all looks like new. This looks like behind that so this looks like atop this cliff here was where we saw the trailer guy run in. That might be a grave there. It's hard to tell. Looks like there's something stone there at least. But yeah, this looks like part of a grab attack or something because our character's on the floor, and I don't think we normally have an animation for that, do we? So that's cool. Like ogre type deal. Wonder what the backstory to that's gonna be. We're clearly gonna kill that boss enemy we saw in the trailer, and then like he's gonna drop like an Ashes of War or something, an incantation or something that's gonna let us do this. I can already see it. I like it though. Also, notice we see the spear pikes with the bodies on them. So yes, we're definitely going to see some impaling here. You can also see it back here. So this looks like this is happening on one of the bridges. Nothing really stands out to me though, other than that. These guys look really bad. They look like they look really hollow and rotten. So again, seems to be Mesmer's forces. Is this the same as what we see here? It's hard to say. I can't really. The helmets have a similar round thing going, but I can't tell if the sides are the exact same. Maybe, do they have any axes or things on their feet and stuff? They have like these bracelet things here, and these guys all have spears. Might be the same. It looks like they're the bracelets. So yeah, I'm going to assume these are all Mesmer's forces, and what we see in the trailer and stuff is all Mesmer. The enemies in the Porcupine move have shields that resemble flowers. Are they flowers? Could be flowers. Could also be like a sun thing. You know, like rays of the sun type deal. Again, I'd love to get a better look at this. This is interesting to me because this looks like a dude with a cane, but he's got this for a head. And I wonder what's going on with this guy. Like, is this related to the Shadow Tree? Is this like a guy who like got like infected with like Shadow Tree pus or something, and that like gold turned him into this? Like, what's going on here? This has to be my second favorite image. So the first one was like the swamp with the chateau, and now this with like the weird blood swamp thing, because this looks like red blood he's walking through, and it kind of reminds me of the Moog guys, right, with the nobles, and they have their like walking cane swords. Yeah, this is cool. I really like this image. This is our guy doing cool like monk moves. This again looks similar to what we see with Mesmer's forces on the bridge. That looks like that might be one of those spiky stone structures we see, but we're seeing the that Norman style fort here. Again, very interesting. I'm curious about this. Again, we have the lion thing. That's nothing new here. We saw this in the trailer. Again, we see ancient civ ruins with lots of non-coniferous trees. So that looks like to be on that left side we saw. That's leading to the main legacy dungeon. Very cool. I really like this. Again, clear image. Clearly a woman. Looks like she's holding a baby. This looks like a hand here. So it looks like that is in fact a baby. Long cloak. Those, actually, now that I look at it here, this does look like the flowing cloak robe thing that Marika has. And that looks like Marika's braid. So this could definitely be Marika. Does Marika have like a shoulder jewelry thing on her main statue? Let me look this up very quickly. Marika statue. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. Like, I look at this, I compare it to this. Like, you can clearly see. Right up there. There's something similar there. I don't know if it's exact, but at the very least, and this here is definitely very evocative of that design here. I don't know if it's the exact same again, but it looks similar enough. So I'm going to operate under the assumption this is definitely Marika, combined with his dialogue all about his mommy. Now you can see the thing behind her. Yeah, now I can more clearly see that cloth thing. It looks a lot like what we see there. So that's good to know. This is interesting because it looks like it's on the edges of that area we saw with the dancing lady in red with the scimitars. Curious what this is supposed to be, though, because it's got, like, the ghost face and the tiny arms. It kind of looks cute. This looks like a Miyazaki cute type of thing. Also, more of the conifers. And then, of course, this guy. And yeah, he definitely looks like he's on his knees here. Like, you can see his legs here. And you got the blood here. Yeah. So looking at all this in its totality, chat, let's go over what I have from the interview and stuff that I can share with you all that's worth sharing at least. I talked about the chair, land shadow, the golden shadow tree towers, the shadows of the golden tree. Once part of the lands between, I talked about the physically separated. Mikola headed to the secluded realm of shadow for some reason and leaves his footprints there, which we follow as the main thread for our journey, basically. Wicker Man, the Red Cloth Mesmer character is important. He's going to block our way during the DLC. The Lion Dancer-esque boss. The Shadow of the Erd Tree, also called the Shadow Tree. So the setting's not the lands between symbolized by the Erd Tree, but the realm of shadow symbolized by the Shadow Tree. Miyazaki was basically started vaguely conceptualizing this toward the end of his development of the main game. He couldn't fit it in the main story, so he thought it'd be good for the DLC. Though, again, the DLC didn't get greenlit until after development, and it didn't properly start until once the updates for the game slowed down. So it seems like even if they knew they were definitely going to have DLC for this game, they were kind of like, okay, we couldn't get started on it until, like, they probably... Because if you guys remember, in the initial months of the game, there were lots of, like, updates and stuff for balance patches and things in DLC. Like, you know, I don't know if the arenas was part of that cycle, but, like, they were definitely having, like, they were regularly performing updates and stuff, and that was clearly their focus to get, like, out, you know, like, hammer out all the bugs and stuff. Hidden meaning to the DLC subtitle I talked about. He confirms that it's Mikola in the teaser art we were talking about earlier. We follow the Guidance of Grace in the main game, but the DLC has us follow Mikola's footsteps, which having headed to this place. There's other NPCs who've also followed it. They'll be both friends and foe. DLC's not set in the past or future. It's going to be concurrent with the main story. It's the history in the past about, like, Queen Marika and this realm of shadow is going to be conveyed the same way the Shattering was conveyed. So basically, we're gonna have, like, after effects of the war and of the conflicts and history here, and we're gonna, like, have to piece it together probably through mostly environmental storytelling and some item descriptions. Basically, maybe some, like, monuments that'll talk about it. We didn't see any sword monuments, by the way. That's interesting in its own right. Yeah, stuff about Mesmer, Child of Marika, which again goes with him referring to Marika by mother and having a statue of her behind him. Martin's mythos was used, but nothing new is written. That I think is very notable to say is that Miyazaki and Martin in the interview, he even talks about how they haven't even talked in person or seen each other or whatever to even congratulate themselves in person about the whole DLC development. So that's kind of neat. Perhaps that's why the shade of his cape is reminiscent of Hayeda's cape and the clothes of Frenzy Flame Citizens. Perhaps that's why the woman in the painting has her eyes hidden. Maybe it has to do with Frenzy. Were the Dark Souls DLCs and stuff this exciting? I wouldn't know because I wasn't really part of the English community at that time. But, like, I definitely was super hyped for the Ring City DLC when it came out. Like, all the DLCs for me, I was definitely super hyped about. And the Ring City DLC hype is what got me into the English community because I really wanted to see what English fans were reacting because they're like, this is, like, really big. We're going to the place of the pygmies. There's so much pygmy lore and stuff that's been implied in Dark Souls 1 and was being delivered upon in Dark Souls 3 with the trailer and the Chaos Demons. And, like, there's so much cool stuff that we're having here. And then I saw how many people were, like, missing it or thinking, like, oh my god, this is so cool. This is new and stuff. It's like, no, it's not. And then that's how I discovered the localization problems. And, well, I ended up here. So that's cool. Hello, Oniwa. Welcome back. Again, apologies about having issues with the first stream. I'm glad to have you here now. The DLCs were really fun for Dark Souls. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anyway, back to where I was going through this doc. Lion Dancer is going to be a DLC-esque boss. Culture, again, we talked about the culture stuff. I actually covered most of what we had in here, this document, pretty naturally throughout my time. I'm actually surprised with myself. God. Me being good while unscripted. What is wrong with me? No new ending, but there's going to be small stuff adjusted to make clear you did complete the DLC. I don't know what that's going to entail exactly. It could be like the Sif thing in Artorias of the Abyss DLC, where Sif recognizes you when you do the boss fight after you completing the DLC. But, like, I don't know. They could also, like, add and change a bunch of other stuff, so we'll see. no plans for another DLC at this time, but he's not going to close the door on ER's future. Same thing that he did with DS3. He actually makes that direct comparison. He's going to be like, I don't want to, like, I don't want to say it. And I think in, like, the IGN interview, he even clarifies, like, he doesn't want to shut the door because, like, there may be a new idea to continue the story, so he doesn't want to say, like, the story's over yet. So, yeah. So it's clear, like, there's currently no plans. Miyazaki doesn't have any ideas like, I really desperately need to have, like, a sequel or more DLC or something. But he's not saying that this is going to be the end of Elden Ring or Dark Souls or any of that. So let's see. Now for the interview. Nope, I'm not seeing anything else here. And yeah, I touched about all the stuff here. I touched about MESSMER, his Impaler moniker. So, okay, that pretty much covers it, guys. So, again, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties we had going through all this. I will say it once again. I am super happy to have done this breakdown and been able to see this trailer and that this game actually exists. I am so hyped and excited to see what's going to be coming in the future. Like, we only have 4 more months, chat. I only need to stall playing and completing Elden Ring for 4 more months. And then I could do the DLC. And then I could beat Blackie. Oh, actually, well, do I need to beat Blackie and Melania afterwards? Maybe not, but you never know. They could add new items that'll make them easier fight. So yeah, totally. We're gonna keep on stalling for 4 more months. Woo! So like 10 years away minimum for a sequel or something. Miyazaki did say he would be interested in another Elden Ring type open world game if possible. So, yeah, he may take another like 10 years to come out with another game like this as its director if he wants. So, don't tempt him. He might do it. There we go. I like this. Make it higher quality, you. There we go. So what's your stream schedule going to be now? We're still going to be doing Elden Ring and stuff. I still have HSR on the mind. We're probably going to do other games on the side as well. I would like to get around to like Persona 3 Reloaded and Grand Blue Relink at some point in the future, so we'll see. But yeah, we now have a set idea of like, okay, we have to make the schedule cleared for June. You can do it! Thank you. Oh, no, you're talking about me actually beating the game? Like, no! Night Scout, I refuse! The meme must never die! I must never complete the game! I must continue to stall! For my own amusement. Anyway, so, yeah. It's looking pretty good, I think. I'm really happy with how this is gonna go. Because, you know what? This may be the last we ever get of Elden Ring stuff. Miyazaki says he has the door open, but again, nothing's come out for Dark Souls yet, and nothing new for Elden Ring's on the horizon, so if this is the last we ever see of Elden Ring in the IP, I think this could be a really good conclusion. Stella Rising to meet Mesmer in person. Yeah, so overall, guys, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope this was an informative breakdown. I know listening to me for hours on end is probably not the most amusing experience, but I hope I at least made it worth your while. I am very much satisfied with going through this breakdown. I found a lot of things I didn't notice the first time, a lot of new stuff I'm learning, helping me contextualize where everything applies in the area, so I don't think this counts as a meme. It's a meme to me, so I'm memeing for sure. Alrighty! So we're going to close things up now. Again, I'm going to put a link to this stream for anyone watching the VODs for part 1. Again, apologies for all the technical difficulties to have to split this into 2 separate videos. I know it's late though, so I'm sure a lot of you guys wanted to get some sleep anyway, so no problem on your part. Again, thanks everybody for joining me. Gonna see y'all next time. Bye-bye.